to the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. Now say this with me. Bounce back. Yes, I can. Unstoppable. Unstoppable, free and fearless. Unshakable.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable, nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspire, feel your positive unpack.
Never, ever. Never giving up. Encouraged, uplifted, inspired, empowered, motivated.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable, nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspire, feel your positive unpack.
Yes, yes. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I believe. Yes, yes, yes. Heart, be still.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable, nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspire, feel your positive unpack.
Bounce back. Bounce back. Bounce back. Bounce back.
There is so much more to come. And so with that being said, Dr. Tsitsi Mercy, I am just so excited, also known as DTM. We are so excited to have you. I know that you were navigating everything, but I think that you are, yes, you're back and it looks like you are able to get in and you're good to go. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's see if I can find you. Perfect. I am so happy and excited to invite you to the stage and for you to share your story, your wisdom, and your experiences with us all. So DTM, she is a transformational humanitarian advocating for women's well-being through faith-based community programs. She's a promoter of the welfare of marginalized women, ensuring equitable access to information and entitlements for foreign women in the diaspora. And she is the CEO and president of Equip for Excellence Women's Ministry International, a conglomerate women's ministry birthed in 2009. This organization transcends denominational and cultural barriers in supporting, training, equipping, inspiring, and empowering marginalized women and the girl child. DTM was appointed the governor at her local authority in Wales. Yes, because she's out there in the UK. I've been out there too many years ago. And she is ranked among UK's inspiring and most inspiring and influential women through her active leadership roles in the diverse communities and advocating for women's and girls' rights through empowerment programs and her involvement in global peace. She is an award-winning recipient of the Wise Women Awards. She's a finalist in the Women for Africa as Humanitarian, and she was conferred an honorary PhD and degree in humanity by the University Global Peace and United Nations Global Compact. And there is so much more to share on this wonderful, wonderful lady. But I'm going to go ahead and let her share her part of the story of the power of strategic planning, as we cannot bounce back if we don't have a plan. And so thank you so much. I am so excited to turn over to you, wonderful lady.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. It has been an honor and a privilege, my goodness, just to listen to every speaker who has been, my God, you girls girls are amazing. Like I was sitting there like, Lord help me. Do I have anything else to say? But God is good. So I bring you greetings from the United Kingdom. I'm excited to have you girls. Do you know what? Some of you, I had to listen really carefully because, like, Americans, you've got this accent in your, and I just like, oh, wow, I love it. I really do. Let's get to work. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Stem. You are an amazing woman, and my goodness, God is taking you from one level of glory to another level of glory. So thank you. Sabrina, if you can help me with sharing my screen, that would be great. What I want to do, ladies, is to just get you through into this, through my presentation and make it very real. I don't know, men, if you've ever heard this saying that sometimes as Christian women, we know how to speak in tongues. We are Holy Ghost filled, tongue talking, Bible carrying, devil bashing, but my God, we don't have a strategy. We have no plan. We're waiting on God to say, God, when is this going to happen? And God is like, girl, I'm waiting on you. Get on with the job. So today, all right, I was going to say tonight because it's about 5:45 here in the UK. But today, let's talk about the power of strategic planning. Do you want to move to the next slide? Thank you, Sabriya. Thank you. So preparation is the difference between winning and losing. And the reason why I wanted to talk about strategic planning is that 2023 is going to demand us to put some things, our ducks in a row. 2023 is going to demand us to have a strategy, to plan properly. If we want to be the head and not the tail, if we want to take positions in corridors of influence, if we want to be women whose presence will demand an explanation, we must have a plan. So preparation is the difference between winning and losing. What happens when you don't prepare? I mean, it's simple. We fail. When we don't have a plan and we don't prepare properly, we fail. So I want you to take a minute to think about and just be really honest and maybe put
You're going outside. Can you have Dad put this up? Thanks.
Sorry.
No worries. Let me do some mute, and somebody probably doesn't realize they're not on mute. Okay. You're all good. Go ahead.
Okay, brilliant. So if you can just be really honest with yourself and say, hey, look, the times where I have not really planned properly, this is the mess I got into. If you're okay with sharing some personal details, or maybe it's something in your career, or it could be anything. It could be ministry, it could be in friendship, it could be anything, when you just didn't prepare properly. And being unprepared puts you kind of like out of position. Like we have been told, the Bible tells us that we are the head and not the tail. Ladies, if you're on this platform and you're at the sound of my voice, you are the head and not the tail, okay? And so sometimes when we fail to prepare, we position ourselves as being the tail. So preparation positions us for a correct impact in the world. Sabrina, should we move on to the next slide? Thank you. Right, so what is strategy? If you don't know where you are going, any road will get you there. I love that quote by Lewis Carroll. And it's true, if you don't have a strategy, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know where you're going, listen, you would turn any other way and it's fine, because you don't have a router. So what is a strategy? A strategy is establishing priorities. What are your priorities on this bounce back session, on this bounce back conference, and during this time where you are kind of like now winding down your 2022 and going into 2023? What is your strategy? Establishing priorities, choosing actions. I love that one, choosing action. We have a choice of the actions that we take. We have to be responsible for the actions that we take. If we don't choose carefully and choose wisely, we end up acting the fool and acting out of character and acting as really what the tail does instead of being the head. Creating a plan, allocating resources, which is a big one for Christians. I think sometimes as Christians we can be so careless in that area, and as long as I've tithed and I've given an offering, anything else that I do with my money is my business, no one else's. No, allocating your resources in an intelligent and wise way. and being proactive. Sabriya, thank you. Shall we move on to the next slide? Thank you. So what is a strategic plan? We looked at what's a strategy, but now let's look at what the plan is. That's a document that says why you or your organization exists. Now, many of us here may know about this because I think I'm talking to women who are very organized, maybe CEOs, maybe ministers in the gospel, women who are leading in one way or the other, women who are significant in their bloodline. But you need a document, ladies. You need a document that says why you are where you exist, mainly because somebody will want to run with that vision and, on another time at another stage in life. So what you aim to do and how you will do it, your why, your what, and your how will help you to focus on your vision and your priorities. The Bible says unless we put the vision down, we have to write the vision down. So they that come after us know how to articulate this vision, they know how to run with it. They won't die us with the amount of time and energy you've put into making this work, whatever it may be. It could be an assignment, it could be a ministry, it could be a business, it could be a family, whatever it is, put it down. Make sure you've got a document. A document means a reference point. Shall we move on to the next slide? So a reference point means that you are able to look at something. You've got something to look back on to say, okay, at such a time, I made note of this, I made note of this. And it helps you also to be able to maybe judge how far you're going and how much time you've got left. Strategic planning does not predict the future. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. It's not it's not like a magic wand. Strategic planning does not predict the future for you. You've got to put in the time. You've got to put in the work. Strategic planning does not replace good leadership and judgment. These are things that you have to work at. And that's something that we can talk about on a different day. Strategic planning does not mean it can't be tweaked. Now, let me just say something there. Sometimes we write a plan, and in the middle of the year, the plan is not really working out the way we wanted it. It's okay, ladies, to tweak it. You can adapt and edit it as needed. Thank you, Sabriya. As you need, as you see fit. So there are certain steps that you can take in order to make your planning, your strategic planning, something that you can look back on and make sure that your organization are also, working with you on this. So let's talk from writing it all down. So you've written it all down. There's the implementation stage. There's the monitoring and evaluation, which is something that I think we should be able to do without fear of being judged. I mean, hey, the good thing about a mind is you can change it, which is good. So if you change your mind on something because you have evaluated it, that's good leadership, and that is strategic planning. So you monitor and you evaluate what's working and what's not working, and whatever is not working, I mean, let's change the way you're doing things. Insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So change it after evaluation, assess your organization, develop vision and mission, assess the environment. Now, I needed to talk a little bit about that because, at the moment, we are very big on the environment and what works in the environment and being kind to the environment. I think as Christians, we have a responsibility towards the environment. So let's look at that. Here in the UK, we are very big on recycling and making sure that any leftover food, we put it in the right place, and any kind of disposable stuff is put in the right. So everything is recycled. Now, where I live in Wales is if you put anything that is supposed to be recycled and may be a danger to the environment in the wrong place, you will be prosecuted for it. So it's assessing the environment. Now, the environment being where we are and what is around you, but also the environment in your bloodline. Like everybody has an environment. The environment in your bloodline, the environment in your friendship, the environment in your organization. Assess it and don't be afraid to monitor and evaluate and then agree on priorities. You must have your priorities. And once you've got that, you've kind of like got a good system going, and that should take you further. Thanks, Sabriya. Should we go to the next slide? So I want to talk about keys to strategic planning. Focus on the most important issues. Now, this is really something that I used to struggle with a lot. Everything was important to me. Like everything was important. Getting my nails done was important. Going to get a haircut was important. Getting my car fixed was important. Purchasing a house was important. I just didn't know how to actually put things in a planned way that I would be able to look back and say, okay, tick, 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 I've done this. But focus only on the most important issues. Put those on the top of your list. Listen, you are not on a rat race. There is nobody that is chasing you. It is your plan, it is your vision, and it will move according to your pace. You see, the thing is, we are busy trying to compare with someone else, how they're doing stuff and how they have managed to do this. Listen, girl, the grass isn't green on the other side, okay? And if it is, someone is tending to that grass. So let's be okay with where we are. And that, okay, God, this is where I am. I'm willing to improve. I want to improve. I want to be better. I want to get to a better place. So please, it's okay to pace yourself. Be willing to question what you're including in your planning, because sometimes we include things that really, honestly, like, I mean, why am I putting my haircut in a planning? Like, girl, you just know every 2 weeks you need to go for a haircut. Just get on with it. There are things that are important that you are supposed to put in your planning. Produce a document. I alluded to this earlier. It's just a visual legal documentation for your planning. Thank you, Sabriya. All right, so be bold enough to ask yourself and your team these questions. And some of these questions can be really uncomfortable, but that's okay. That's okay. What you need to do is teach your team to have those uncomfortable conversations, because that's important. So where do we want to go as an organization, as a team, as a family, as a ministry? Where do we want to go? What do we want to achieve? Really, I mean, if you don't write these things down and discuss and talk about it, a couple of weeks back, we had a strategic meeting where we were planning out our whole calendar for 2023. And we kind of like got to a place where we were not agreeing on why we are having this particular event. And I was like, what do we want to achieve from that event? I asked everybody. Everybody seems to know what we wanted to achieve. And then what do we want to be? When this is over, what do people want to remember, bounce back as? What was it? What were we doing? So what do we want to be? We had to face up to those questions, and that's important. And if you're like me and you're community driven in everything that you do, you want to know, what community do we dream of? What do I want to see the world be? Thank you, Sabriya. What do I want to see the world become? What's my part in this community? Now, a community these days can actually be a community online. Like, you can have a virtual community. Ladies, don't beat yourself up just because you're not out there and posting pictures of, having a soup kitchen, or you are not out there handing out blankets to people who are homeless. That doesn't mean you don't have a strategy or plan. The world of virtual is right there in your face. You can create a charity that can really be significant, even while you are just doing it virtually. It's very possible. So your reason for being and for being, what is your reason for being? I was going to talk about mission and vision and everything, but I don't have enough time for that. I send you guys the slides later on. Communicate to the world what you do and why. Now, we send mixed messages all the time. No, so here we are, Dr. Mercy, what do you do? Who are you? In less than 60 seconds, someone should be so interested, so motivated to want to hear, what do you do? And in those 60 seconds, someone who can be so turned off, like literally look on the other side like, girl, my goodness. So communicate to the world what you do and why you do it, but make sure that you have planned it. Exercise it. I mean, do it as many times as possible. Pretend one day you are there right in the White House. And the question that comes to you is, Sheba Wilson, Nikki G, I'm not going to pronounce your surname, Nikki, because Nikki G, Sweta Simona, Sabriya, what do you do? And why do you do it? You got 60 seconds, honey, to convince the White House that you are the woman for the job. 60 seconds, and try not to confuse your message. We confuse our messages sometimes with the way we look, the way we dress, the way we carry ourselves, like we are slotting about, and yet we are calling ourselves queens. We are looking like we are run down and I don't know, like some sorry story, and we want to sell people, we want to tell people we are CEOs, we are ministers of the word. Look at me, I can preach, I can. No, don't confuse your message by the way you talk. Don't confuse your message by the way you look. Dress how you want to be addressed. Balance the head and your heart. And try and make sure that you inspire someone. Thank you, Sabriya. I'm trying to move as fast as possible because I've got 1 minute for every slide. Never underestimate the power of SWOT analysis. Now, we use SWOT analysis in many different areas in our lives. We use it in the commercial world. We use it in politics. We use it in church. We use it in all different organizations. Many of you know about the SWOT analysis, but SWOT analysis is simply looking at your strength, looking at your weaknesses, looking at your opportunities, and looking at your threats. So your strength, what do we do well? What do you do well? Listen, be real to yourself. I know what I do well, and I certainly know what I don't do well. And I'm not going to put myself in a position where I want a leading role in what I don't do well. No, but what I will do, however, is I will take that which I can't do and take it to my weaknesses. What could we do better? And what I then do is I get myself taught like this mentorship, this coaching. We have no reason whatsoever, ladies, to not make use of these things. Okay. Glory be to God. So I think I've got a few seconds left. I've just got my bell. Okay, let's move on to the next one, Sabriya. Goals versus objectives. We all know about that. Greater purpose, long-term outcome. It may not be easy to measure, and your objective is specific short-term action that will contribute to achieving your goal. Girls, I know we can do this. Ladies, we've got it. It's in us. Let's go to the next one, Sabriya, and I think we can start rounding it up. So I want us to think about the Sila moments of truth. These are the moments that, you know, when the penny drops. Spectacular achievement comes from unspectacular preparation. Like, put in the work in the background, okay? Don't avoid putting in the time to prepare. There are things that we have to do in order to be who we want to be. I think we can try and get to the end of that, Sabriya. Next one, and I think we are almost done. Smart objectives, let's move on. I think I alluded to that. Moving forward. So ladies, as I sort of wind down now, produce that document, write it down, write the vision down. Let not your vision die when you go to the grave. No, that is not your portion. Develop an action plan and implement. The grave must not, benefit from you. No. So produce that document so that someone else can run with it. Now, you're not doing it. The thing is, we are not great at succession. We are not. We want to hold on to it like it's mine for dear life. Girl, good leadership, strategic planning means you're planning for the future in case the unexpected happens. Share your progress. Don't be afraid. Share it. Be bold. Review and revise. The power of your strategic planning will help you to identify the best fit for your vision. Remember, I said Stop comparing yourself with Angela. Stop comparing yourself with Shaquita. Stop comparing yourself with someone else. You are enough. What God has ordained for you to achieve on this side of life, it will happen if you allow God to do what he does best. So make sure that your strategic planning is got a best fit for your vision, for your mission, your goals, and your objectives. Okay, Sabriya, thank you. Bible verses for your business. There are so many of them. I just took a few that I could try and maybe, challenge you a bit. And maybe by the time you go, if I don't make you a little bit upset, or I don't kind of like come into your business, then I haven't done a good job. I love Proverbs 10 verse 4. It says, a slack hand causes poverty. Oh, I love that. But the hand of the diligent makes rich. Proverbs 19 verse 15 says, slothfulness casts into a deep sleep, and an idle person will suffer hunger. I mean, guys, I'm not like trying to be hard on you. This is the Bible, the Bible, and it's saying it as it is. In closing, please stop saying you are waiting on God. I beg you. We are so good on giving the responsibility to God when we already have the responsibility. It's too much. We are waiting on God. I'm waiting on God. I'm waiting to hear what God will say. Then I'll put my plan and strategy in place. No, girl, God is waiting on you. So please scrub up, get up, and fix your crown. The Bible says that he who has begun a good work in you will see it to completion until the very day that he returns. He's waiting on you. Thank you, Sabriya. I think I'm gonna call it a wrap here. These are just a few things of my whatever, but yeah. So please, ladies, whatever it takes for you to get the job done, get it done. Get it done. He who has begun a good work in you will see it to completion until the very day that he returns. Thank you.